Welcome back to another video, and today I'm going to be going through 10 bands who, in my opinion, whose debut was their best. This is one of those videos that's been done plenty of times on other channels, but I thought I'd take my stab at it. By the way, before we get into this as well, just want to apologise to anyone who's commented on my last couple of videos and I haven't gotten around to responding to. There's been a lot of you. I have been very, very busy over this past week. I've been on holiday, but I've been filming a ton of videos for my brand new channel, which is going to be more in the travel sort of vein of things, and I will be getting those videos uploaded and getting the channel out there to everybody soon. So as soon as that's ready, I will let you all know. I think it's going to be a fun one. I'm really enjoying doing it. It's been a lot of fun to do it, and I think you guys are going to like it as well. But anyway, that's not what we're here for. First of all, I just wanted to get one band out of the way. And this is not one that I'm including on the list, but I know it's a band that a lot of you will be commenting about, and that's Machine Head with Burn My Eyes. And that's purely because on any given day, I go between Burn My Eyes and The Blackening as being their best. I know that many people have written the band off, after Burn My Eyes, but I'm not one of those people. I think they've done some great stuff. So Burn My Eyes is not going to be included in this list. So anyway, let's get into it. This is a very obvious one to start things off, to lull us into it, if you will, before we start getting into more of the metal side of things. Guns N' Roses with Appetite for Destruction. I am a Guns N' Roses fan. I know a lot of people aren't, but Appetite for Destruction is by far their best album. I mean, it's just a stone cold classic. I did enjoy a lot of Use Your Illusion 1 and 2, but there's no doubt that there is definitely some more filler material on that. I never really bothered with Chinese Democracy or anything like that, and what the new stuff will be like, I have no idea. It's like, I think the problem with Guns N' Roses for me, there's nothing that can quite compare to those early years of the band. Those of you who are my age will know this band were everywhere at one point, and there was a real sense of danger to them. You know what I mean? They really did seem like that proper old school rock and roll punk attitude going on with them, and it really did seem like just a crazily insane band, but they are no more. So like I said, I've enjoyed other stuff they've done, but Appetite is by far their best. I mean, Mr. Brownstone, Out to Get Me. I think that was probably the first time I ever heard the word fuck in a song. You know what I mean? Back in the day, it was like, what? What did he say? I'm fucking innocent. Yeah, Appetite for Destruction. Arguably I wouldn't say arguably. I'd say pretty much unanimously most people consider it to be their best. So easy start. Now let's get into some heavier stuff. Godflesh with Street Cleaner. Now I think they had an EP out before this. Godflesh are another band. I think they've done some fucking amazing albums over the years. Their most recent album, actually, Purge. I can't remember when it came out. Was it 23 or 22? I'm not sure. I'm a bit hazy on that. Their last album, yeah, Purge, that's an absolutely fantastic album. Really enjoyed that. But Street Cleaner is a hell of a debut. The amount of bands that I loved in the 90s who cited Godflesh, and more specifically this album, as an influence is absolutely insane. Devin Townsend, Rob Flynn, Max Cavalera, Fear Factory, so many other bands who just listened to what Justin K. Broadrick, so many people who listened to Godflesh, and most specifically this album, and were just blown away by it. This album really is the sound of the apocalypse. So many, there's so many album reviews I've read over the years about some heavy albums, like, yeah, this is like the soundtrack to the apocalypse. Street Cleaner really is. It's a heavy listen. I couldn't say it was an enjoyable listen, but man, I just find it exhilarating whenever I do listen to it. The title track is amazing. Like Rats, of course, is just fucking amazing. I've seen Godflesh a few times live over the years, and it's just always crushing. There was some great footage I was watching recently of the guys at a festival, and fuck man, they sounded just so goddamn heavy. So yeah, Godflesh, a band with an incredible discography, but the Street Cleaner really is potentially their best, which is not to take away from any of the rest of their albums, but my god, what a crushingly dystopian album. Maybe it's easier to listen to nowadays because that's what we're all living in, whether we know it or not. Politics. My next pick is one that I'm expecting a lot of feedback from in the comments, and I welcome it because I can kind of... This next band is one that I enjoy so much of their discography that I'm not really sure that I should include it or not, but the first album is just so damn good and means so much to me that I couldn't not include it. Morbid Angel, of course, with their debut Altars of Madness. What an absolutely perfect death metal album. This was still very much on the... There's a lot of thrashier elements in this album. Blessed of the Sick, the following album, would definitely see things go much more in a real, what we now really class as death metal direction. I love that album as well. I love so many of their albums, but this album for me is just perfect. Of course, we have the very Slayer-esque intro to Immortal Rites, you know, the reversed kind of demonic intro before slamming into the song. I've always liked Suffocation. It always has that really cool bass solo piece. Well, not solo, but it just drops down to the solo part of it. Great tracks. Chapel of Ghouls, of course, absolutely insanely good song. Just love the atmosphere of that, and the story that's conjured up in that one is just ridiculously fucking good. And of course, you got stuff like Blasphemy, Maze of Torment. I'm more than expecting a lot of feedback from this one because Morbid Angel have so many damn good albums that it'd be, you know, there's no way I could just go with one album for Morbid Angel. But I mean, what kind of crazy person would rank this album at, say, number 6? Absolutely insane. So many damn good albums, but this one just has a special place for me. I just love it. It's got an atmosphere all of its own. It really stands out in discography for me. And I've said it before about this band, but they really are, when they were at their peak, the levels of creativity that went into their music is pretty off the chain. You know, they really did pull so many influences and just do their own thing and introduced ideas that so many other bands would go on to use. Just incredible band. My next pick, and I think this one's fairly unanimous with most people, is Entombed. Of course, their debut Left Hand Path is rightly held as one of the greatest death metal albums of all time, especially when it comes to Swedish death metal. That buzzsaw HM2 guitar tone is just all over the album. And I do enjoy a lot of their other stuff as well, though. Clandestine, I think, is actually a really strong follow-up. It's Stranger Eons. I always loved that song. The riffs on that one are just absolutely fantastic. Wolverine Blues, I think, is a decent album. I think it's a really good album. That's probably my real introduction to the band, actually, hearing that on a sampler CD. And I always loved that tone and the groove to it, but that was much more going into the more death and roll. The fourth album, wasn't it, To Ride, To Shoot Straight? And I can't remember the full-on title, but that one was a bit more of a disappointment. That actually reminds me, there's a video that I've been meaning to do for a very long time, and that's, I don't know how I titled it, but how I would title it, should I say, but something along the lines of, you know, albums that introduced you to a band, because the first album I ever actually got around to buying from Entombed was To Ride, To Shoot Straight, whatever. And even though there's some good songs on it, like Damn Deal Done, great songs, the rest of the album was kind of like, this is not what I was expecting from the band, and therefore it kind of stopped me listening to the other stuff. You have to remember, I'm from a generation where you actually had to buy albums when you wanted to watch them, listen to them even. So there was no streaming or anything like that. So anyway, I'm going off tangent here. You know, I just thought that'd be an interesting idea for a video. You know, what was your introduction to a band? And because in my case, I was introduced to them on an album that was not that good, which therefore stopped me listening to the rest of their discography for quite a while. Anyway, Left Hand Path, it's a fucking good album. Therefore it's on this list. Went on, didn't it? Jesus. My next pick is one that I'm very much sticking to as well. And I'd imagine quite a lot of people who'd agree with me, and that's Korn. With their debut, that's a heavy fucking album. That was one of them ones that, when it came out, truly was something different, you know. Hadn't really heard anything like that before. It's so easy to see Korn as this generic kind of nu metal sound now, but Korn were something completely new, completely different at the time that they came out. This album's absolutely crazy. The first song of theirs that I actually heard wasn't Blind, it was Fake, which is a fucking heavy song. Jonathan actually doing almost death growls in one part of that song. Yeah, that was one of those ones I got it on a sampler. And I heard the rest of the album and was just like, oh my God, some really heavy stuff on that. Daddy, of course, is disturbing as hell. What was the next album? Was it Life is Peachy? Was that next? I kind of enjoyed that album, but less so. Follow the Leader has got some great stuff. I mean, Freak on a Leash, that breakdown section in there is one of the best. Untouchables, was it Untouchables next? No, Issues was a strong album. I thought Issues was a strong album, but Untouchables was kind of whatever. And from that point on, I kind of really lost interest in the band. Although I've seen them live a few times over the years, and they've always delivered live. And their last couple of albums have been, yeah, they're kind of enjoyable enough, but nothing quite hits me harder than that first album. Blind, of course, is just a great opening track. We've got stuff like Ball Tongue, the F Word, I'm not sure what I can say. That's a great song. Shoots and Ladders, is it Shoots and Ladders? Clown, so many good songs on that album. Really great album, and yeah, in my eyes, it's their best. I do enjoy a lot of Korn, but they never quite got up to that album again, in my opinion. Next for me is, to be fair, this is a band I don't really know. This is a band I've never really delved in too deeply because I've just found them so off-putting, but I have talked about them on the channel a lot before. Van Halen with their self-titled debut. Now, I'm not a huge Van Halen fan, but I think everything that I do enjoy and respect about the band is on full display on this album. Of course, you have Eruption, Eddie Van Halen's incredible solo. How many players did he inspire, not just with his incredible playing, but with his tone? That tone he produced, absolutely insane. It really went a long way to influence a lot of metalheads to just get that gnarlier, beefier tone that was just that much more aggressive. I'm not going to go too into depth on Van Halen because I can't pretend I'm any kind of expert whatsoever, but I have checked them out a lot over the years, and as I said earlier, everything that I do respect about the band is very much on display on the first album. And I understand why they became huge. You know, there's no denying the talent of the band. Just a band that I never really got into, but yeah, the first album's definitely got some great stuff on there. Next up, we have Life of Agony with River Runs Red. I saw Life of Agony actually recently. They were fucking great. It was great to see them live. That first album, my God, heavy as hell. Definitely hardcore influence, but so many other influence in there as well. A lot of more sludgy elements in there, and Keith Caputo, his voice, just absolutely incredible. Still are as well. You know, like I said, I saw him live a couple of months back now. Absolutely insanely good. Much like a lot of the other bands on this album, by no means am I trying to say that the rest of their discography is bad. It couldn't be further from the truth. Life of Agony have done some incredible work ever since the debut, but I think there's just something, I don't know, with a lot of the debuts, I guess there's just something special in that a lot of these bands just come out swinging, and they had something different that immediately was like, what the hell is this? Much like I was saying about Korn earlier on, when it first came out, I'd never really heard anything like that. And Life of Agony is just another one of those bands that kind of flirted with a lot of different influences and really made their own sound. The follow-up, Ugly, was heavy as hell as well. Definitely depressing, continuing a lot of, you know, Keith's lyrics have always been very, very soul-bearing. And Soul Searching Sun, which came out of that went even more into a alternative metal, alternative rock kind of a vibe. But I had some really strong songs on it. I actually really enjoyed those. I remember when Weeds came out, I really enjoyed that song. I enjoy a lot of that album. But for me, River Runs Red, I mean the title track itself, ooh, those lyrics, my God, they hit hard, really hard. I fucking enjoyed that album a lot. Great band, but nothing quite hit as hard as the debut for me. My next pick, and I am not wrong on this one, there's no debate, Down with Nola. With that being said, I am very, very much looking forward to the new album, which is going to be coming out next year. I enjoy all of Down's music. The EPs were not as solid as the albums they did, but you know, they've definitely done some amazing work, but nothing that quite hits as hard as Nola. I mean, Down 2, A Bustle in Your Hedgerow is a fantastic album. New Orleans is a Dying Whore. Oh, fucking great. Down 3, Over the Under, was that what it was called? That's a really, I think that's an underappreciated album. I think there's some really strong songs on that. Never Try, I think, is a great song. On March the Saints, great track. But the first album, there's just something really special. I can't help wondering if so much of it is because when they were writing that album, nobody really knew about them. They kind of, Down was one of those ones where Pepper Keenan was telling stories about how he would just hand out demo tapes of Down. Just like, have you heard these guys? But he wouldn't tell anybody, he didn't actually tell anybody that he was in the band and it was his music and his stuff that he was working on. Well, not just his, but you know what I'm saying. So yeah, I can't help wondering whether the fact that you had those 5 friends working on music that nobody else really knew about, and they were just doing it purely for the enjoyment of getting together and jamming and creating these incredible songs. I can't help wondering, if that was part of the magic of that album, because they never quite recaptured it. Like I said, I think the next 2 albums have certainly got more than their fair share of highlights. There's a lot of great stuff, but I mean, Down 2 was marred by, Phil was deeply into his addiction at that point, and there was a hell of a lot going on around that album. Down 3 was part of his, that was when he, after his recovery, had he done back surgery by that point? I can't remember, but a lot of good stuff on Down 3. But Nola, Jesus Christ, Stone the Crow, first song I ever heard, first video that come out. Jail, I always thought was a cool little, segue piece. Losing All. I don't know why I'm listing individual songs. That entire album, I've spoken about this album so much on my channel, but it's just from start to finish, perfect album, absolutely incredible, and one that they never quite got close to again. My next pick is Emperor with In the Nightside Eclipse. Once again, I love so much of the discography, so many damn good songs, so many damn good albums, but much like Altars of Madness, this one kind of has its own, there's a vibe to this album. Into the Infinity of Thoughts is a great opener, and of course you've got The Burning Shadows of Silence, the second track. I always love that breakdown riff about 2/3 of the way through the song. It's just so ding-a 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 ding-a. I mean, there are other parts of the riff, but that's the bounce I'm talking about. Beyond the Great Vast Forest is one of my favourites. I was speaking about, there's the feel of Morbid Angel's first album, Altars of Madness. This has a very Chapel of Ghouls vibe to it, this song. The opening bit especially, but Towards the Pantheon, I Am the Black Wizards. It's just a great album. There's so many other albums of theirs that I enjoy, and Ihsahn, of course, has gone on to have a very successful solo career, and I enjoy so much of what he does as well. But there's something just very special about this album for me. It just has a feel and a vibe all of its own. A bit like my videos. Now, before I get into my final pick for this video, I'd just like to say, by all means, if all of you want to comment with your thoughts on this one as well, maybe I'll do a follow-up video where I go through your lists and see what I think, whether I agree or not, whether I yay or nay, your decisions. Yes, let you be judged for once. Fucks. Anyway, my final pick, Slipknot with their debut. I remember when that album came out. Slipknot get a lot of shit now, and they always will do, because they're a huge band and they've had some great albums over the years, but nothing for me quite hits like the first album. I remember when I first heard it, there was just a relentlessness to the album. I mean, I know there's a lot of bands heavier than Slipknot, but there was just something, I don't know, to me it felt like that first album was just so fucking aggressive. I remember hearing Sick for the first time. Corey was just full on that one. So many damn good tracks on it. Of course, Eyeless. You can't see California without Marlon Brando's eyes. Yeah, he just sounded fucking furious on that album. Iowa, I know a lot of people would... There are a lot of people who would argue Iowa, and Iowa's a great follow-up. It's pretty much a full-on death metal album, really. But Vol 3, I actually enjoyed a lot. I thought there was some great stuff on Vol 3. But you could definitely, you know, they were definitely not commercial by any stretch, but there was definitely some songs on there that was a bit surprised. I remember a friend of mine put on Before I Forget. Then this is before I'd heard the album. And said, yeah, this is Slipknot. I was like, that's not Slipknot, mate. He's like, no, this is off the new album. And I was like, fucking hell. I thought it was a good song, but it's like, okay, it's definitely a little more leaning towards the commercial side. But I mean, they've done some really heavy stuff since. But I kind of fell off after Vol 3, if I'm honest with you. Though I did enjoy We Are Not Your Kind. I thought that was a great album. Some really strong songs on that. Birth the Cruel, fucking brutal. Really enjoy that. But yeah, in my humble opinion, nothing quite matches up to the first album. There was just something fucking epically heavy about that album. Like I said, there's a lot of heavier bands out there. I know that for sure. But there was just something... Again, it was that whole thing of, as I've mentioned with a few other bands, there was just something fully unique about them at the time. I mean, you could argue Mushroom Head and all that stuff, I know. But you know what I'm saying. 9 guys in boiler suits and masks. Just... Because it wasn't just the music, it was the live shows and everything about them as well. When they hit, it was just fucking incredible. There's so many interviews I've read with certain bands who were playing with Slipknot at the time, or when Slipknot was opening in them, and all of them say the same thing. It's like you could just tell immediately this band was just going to blow up and take over shit. So yeah, the self-titled debut, for me, it's their best. I think Iowa's crushing. There's some great stuff on Iowa. I mean, Iowa's amazing alone just for People Equal Shit. That song is just so damn good. But that first album, everything about it, relentless as fuck. And I remember hearing it when it came out and just being like, whoa, okay, these guys mean business. So yeah, that's my final pick. Slipknot, self-titled. So as I said, leave your comments. Let me know whether you think I'm full of shit or not. A lot of you will anyway. And let me know your thoughts on what you think are the best debuts, or the debuts being the best of the band, should I say. Said, I know a lot of you will be talking about Machine Head, Burn My Eyes. I completely get that. A lot of you probably put Kill 'Em All by Metallica on there as well, I'm sure. But not for me. I think they've did way better albums, in my opinion. So if any of you are watching at this point, you're the real ones. You're the people who really support the channel. Yeah, I've not been answering comments this last week. I've been busy as fuck just filming videos for my upcoming new channel, which, like I said, I'm really excited about. For those of you who are still watching now, you're probably the ones who will be subscribing to the new channel, so I'll just speak a little bit about it. First video that I've got coming out is going to be me walking 25 miles of the Cotswold Way. It's a really fun video. For those of you who watch these videos for the scenery, you're going to fucking love that video. It's probably going to be about an hour long, and the countryside that I'm walking through, it just changes throughout. There's so many, it's a real, well, I say it's a fun one. It fucking exhausted me, but I think you guys will enjoy that. I've just finished, I've just got back from 3 days in London. The first video I did, I stayed in one of the worst rated hotels in London. So I've got, so my second video will be that. Then I'm going to have basically being a tourist in London, so just, you know, doing the tourist shit, which I've never done before. I've not done that since I was like 16. And the final day and the fourth video that I'll have coming out will be going around London with basically no money, or a very limited budget anyway. That was a really cool video. That's about like 9 hours of me just walking around, going to all the free places that you can go in London. I really enjoyed that one. And tomorrow I'm going to Weston-super-Mare to film a video there. It's considered by many to be one of the worst seaside resorts in all of England. It's a place that I know well, so I'm going to visit it and I'm going to give you my thoughts. I'm going to walk around, I'm going to show you the good spots, I'm going to have a look at the bad areas, and hopefully I'll be able to shed a bit of a positive light on the place. I don't like it when people just shit on a town unnecessarily. It's definitely got its bad spots, there's no denying that. Anyway, I'm going on. That's the new channel that I'm working on, and I'm very, very much looking forward to launching that and telling you guys when it's about, because I think a lot of you will enjoy it. It's just going to be, it's going to be something different. It's inspiring me to go further afield. The whole point of the channel is that I eventually want to start exploring Europe and America, and I want to fucking travel, man. I want to travel, and if I could get YouTube to be the thing that allows me to do that, then that would be incredible. Putting the intention out into the universe, work towards it, you know, all that hippie shit. So any of you made it this far, thank you very much. And as I said, I will be informing you very soon when I have that new channel up and running. Should be either next week or the week after. Just got to get some videos edited and get ahead of myself. I've gone on way too fucking long. Oh yeah, and I was supposed to be reviewing the new Behemoth album, but I've been so busy that I just haven't even, I don't know if I'll get a chance to do it. But anyway, plenty of stuff to come. And yeah, I hope I'll see you over on the new channel when I get it launched. I'll do a proper video nearer the time. So that's it. Awkward outro. Commence in 3, 2, 1. Look at me, I'm just stood here in a fucking... This is part of why I want to do the new channel. Broaden the horizons, literally. You know what I mean? I love this place, I love this hill. But I've filmed a lot up here and it's time to do something new. So I hope you join me. That wasn't so awkward, was it? Fuck you, see you later, fuck you. Just fuck off. I didn't mean it, I'll tell you when the new channel's ready. Make sure you subscribe to that. Forget the fuck off thing. I'm talking to myself in many ways. Oh God, I frustrate myself. See you later.